Okay, so this is the Junior Certificate Higher Level Maths Paper 2 for 2018, and it's question 7. So we have the line J. It has a slope of 2 over 5. The line N is perpendicular to J. Write down the size of the angle between the lines J and N. Well, it's just 90 degrees. If one line is perpendicular to another one, then it's, whoops, that doesn't look too good, but the line is perpendicular. It means it's at right angles. So you've got 90 degrees all around here. Okay, so part 2. The line N goes through the point 6 minus 1. Write down the equation of N. You do not need to simplify your answer. So the equation of any straight line can be written generally by this formula here. So it's just y minus y1 is equal to m into x minus x1. So you need a point, x1, y1, and you need a slope. So the slope of n, well, we don't have the slope of n, but we know that let's say this is j here, this is the line j, and this is the slope, or this is the line n here. So the slope of j here is 2/5, so the slope here is 2 over 5. So the slope of a line perpendicular to j then will just be we turn it upside down, change the sign, so it'll just be minus 5 over 2. So the slope of n is minus 5 over 2. So we have a point and we have the slope. The point on the line is 6 minus 1. So this is x1, this is y1. So it's y minus minus 1, which is y plus 1. Our slope we discovered is minus 5 over 2. And then we have an x minus 6 here as well. Now this is basically our answer. It says we don't need to simplify the answer, but let me just run through that anyway, how you would simplify this. Normally you would write these in the form ax plus by plus c equal to 0. So let's write it this way. First thing you would do is you have a fraction here, so we want to multiply across by the denominator of the fraction, which is 2. So I'm just going to multiply everything by 2. So multiply the left hand side by 2. Make sure you put in a bracket here. If you multiply this by 2, the 2's will cancel and you're just left with minus 5. So you get minus 5 times x minus 6. Multiply out the brackets, so you get 2y plus 2. Here you get minus 5x plus 30. Let's bring the x over to this side here because we want the x at the beginning. So I'm going to say 5x. Leave it positive here, so it's 5x. So you add 5x to both sides. Plus 2y. Now you have a plus 2. Bring the 30 over to this side, or subtract 30 from both sides. So that'll give me minus 27 equal to 0. Okay, so that's it. I mean, in terms of the question, you do not need to simplify your answer. You would be okay here, but this would be generally the way you would write it. Okay, so let's have a look at part B here. So the equations of two lines, another two lines are K and L. So these are the two lines here. They're given in the table below. Okay, complete the table by filling in the slope of each line and the point where each line crosses the y-axis. There's a space for more work on the next page. Okay, I haven't included that. I'll do the more work here. But there isn't a lot to it here. I mean, it's if you look at this equation here, this is in the form y is equal to mx plus c, where m is our slope and c is our y-intercept. So we have the coefficient of the x here is the slope. So the coefficient of our x here is 1. There's a 1 here. So our slope is just plus 1. The point where it cuts the y-axis, well, on the y-axis x is 0. So all along the y-axis x will be 0. But this c here is where the line cuts the y-axis. So it's just minus 1. So it's 0 minus 1. Now in the second case here we have 2x minus 3y is equal to 6. So we have 2x minus 3y is equal to 6. Now, a couple of ways of finding the slope here. what we could do is change this to look like y equals mx plus c. So let's do that. So we just subtract 2x from both sides, so that'll give me minus 2x plus 6 on this side. Divide across by minus 3 to get rid of this minus 3 here, so we end up with y is equal to minus 2x divided by minus 3 plus 6 divided by minus 3 is minus 2. So that would give me y is equal to minus divided by minus is plus, so we get 2 over 3x minus 2. So now we have the form y is equal to mx plus c. So again, the coefficient of x here is the slope, so our slope here is just going to be 2/3. Where it crosses the y-axis then will be 0 something. So this is the y-intercept here. This is our y-intercept. The c part here gives us the y-intercept. So it cuts the y-axis at minus 2. So I can just put in minus 2 here. There are other ways of doing this. I mean, you take your original equation, 2x minus 3y minus 6 equal to 0. I just brought the 6 over to this side. The slope then, the slope is just minus a over b. Minus 2, this is our a here, over b, this is our b here, over minus 3. So minus 2 over minus 3 is just 2 over 3. So that's how you would find the slope. The y-intercept, well, the y-intercept is just where x is equal to 0. So we would have 2 times 0, x is 0 here, so just put 0 in for x, minus 3y minus 6 equal to 0. So 2 0 is 0, so we just get minus 3y minus 6 equal to 0. Bring the minus 6 over to this side, we will get plus 6. And then just simply divide across by minus 3, and you get y is equal to minus 2. So we still get a minus 2 here for our y value when x is 0. When x is 0, y is minus 2. So we still get 0 minus 2. Okay, so that's it for that part of the question. Next part then, part 2 is simultaneous equations type question. We have y is equal to x minus 1, and we have 2x minus 3, y is equal to 6. So we have two equations here, and we have to use algebra to find the point of intersection of the lines k and l. So we'll have one line and the other line. We have to find the point of intersection, the x and the y, that satisfies both equations. So the point that's on both of these lines is what we've got to find. Okay, so let's do that. Well, we've got equation 1 and equation 2 here. Let me just rewrite equation 1. So let me bring the x over to this side, so we would end up with minus x plus y is equal to minus 1. That's equation 1. All I've done is subtracted x from both sides. So I brought this x over here. So now I have an x, a y, and a number in both equations. Okay, so now what am I going to do? I'm going to take, let's take equation 1 and just multiply it by 2. So we take equation 1 and multiply it by 2, we get minus 2x plus 2y is equal to minus, is equal to plus 2, let's start again. We multiply this by 2, we get minus 2x, multiply this by 2, we get plus 2y, multiply this by 2, we get minus 2. Okay, that's it. Let's write down equation 2 now, which was 2x minus 3y is equal to 6. Now let's just add these two. We'll have a minus 2x plus 2x, which will give me 0. I have a minus 3y plus 2y, that will give me minus y. I have a plus 6 minus 2, that will give me a 4. So I've got a minus y is equal to 4. That means plus y is equal to minus 4. So multiply both sides by minus 1. So now I know y is equal to minus 4. Pick one of the equations and work out what x is. I'm going to pick equation 1 here. Equation 1 was y is equal to x minus 1. This is equation 1. Put in y is equal to minus 4. get x minus 1 here. So that will give me, bring this minus 1 over to this side, or add 1 to both sides. So I get minus 3 is equal to x. Okay, so that's it. I have the x, I have the y. So the point of intersection, is equal to minus 3 minus 4. Okay, and that's it for this question.